I'm the first to admit that when I first started to use CMC, I found it time consuming, laborious, and very repetitive. Now, having had several instances where the records have been accessed by other healthcare professionals, I found the time invested initially has proved invaluable. My first case I'm going to talk about is an 89-year-old lady with a very aggressive bladder cancer and very aggressive lymphoma. She has CMC is all in place. She knows exactly what she wants and doesn't want, and she developed awful itching which didn't respond to emollients or antihistamines. Discussed with her consultant her case, and it was decided to put her on low-dose steroids for the rest of her life. This was highlighted on CMC, so GP is able to continue prescriptions, and emergency services can see why she is on the steroids. I've got a second case which just comes to mind, a man who is literally gone to amber on his disease trajectory and has decided that he wishes to do his own CMC, having read about it. We discussed about it in clinic, and he asked me for access to be able to go on and do it at home, and he asked me to give him a week before I phoned him. I phoned him, and when I accessed his records, he'd actually put in a lot of very, very minute detail into the records which I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. For example, personal contacts and where to get keys from the house. The neighbours, Margaret and Ted, 2 doors down, have a key and know how to get into the house. Things like that could actually be invaluable to emergency services. My last case where I've had very good feedback from CMC was where I'd actually learned how to tick the alerts for
Subscribe.
if the records are accessed. So you go into subscribe and you tick and you get the alert. I picked up an alert bright and early one morning to say that a 39-year-old with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, the records have been accessed by emergency services overnight. I rang her home to find out what was happening. I got no response from either herself or her mother. She lives with her mum, as she's only 39, and she did have various other health problems. So I phoned her mum on her mobile and found they were in A&E resus and had been for several hours. She was on 15 litres of oxygen and very poorly. I spoke to the team, highlighted to them that she had a CMC record which should be accessed. This should have been done by emergency services, but I think Mum basically panicked. We'd all hoped she'd have a lot longer to go yet. She was turned round from resus, she went home, hospice at home in place, and she passed away at home the following day with the full support of hospice and district nurses.